Five things air purifier companies don't want you to know. Presented by the Air Purifier Guide. That's me. The purpose of this video is to save you some money and help you find the right air purifier by avoiding the five things air purifier companies don't want you to know. Before I cover those five things, just as an overview, just so you know, most air purification technology has been around about 40 years. Most consumers are unaware of what technology matches their needs, and we'll talk about that a little later. And most people end up paying too much and getting the wrong technology. Number one thing they don't want you to know is non-replacement air purifiers don't work well. Now I know the idea sounds great. You never have to replace the filter. There's no maintenance on it at all. But if you've ever seen a HEPA filter, and actually I got a picture here, down here in the white, HEPA filter, it kind of looks like a cloth fabric filter. It's usually white. If you look closely at it, looks like cotton. It's kind of wrapped almost like an accordion, in and out, in and out. And it comes in different sizes and shapes. You can also see it round. But anyway, if you've ever seen a dirty one with pollen, soot, pollution, etc. Inside of it, you realize that the ones that don't have HEPA or filters like this really don't do that good of a job. That's why you never have to replace the filter, because there isn't one, basically. So unfortunately, the ones that don't have filters like this don't work that well. So the remedy is just get one that has an affordable replacement filter. And HEPA, if you have allergies or asthma, HEPA is really a must, especially to gather pollen. Number two, replacement filters are generally overpriced. Now, if you went to Japan, you'd find that all the manufacturers over there include extra filters inside every air purifier box that's sold. And the reason for that is the Japanese demand it. They really think ahead and they realize, gee, I'm going to have to replace the filters. I want those included so I'm set for the next 2 years. Americans don't really think that way, and as a result, U.S. manufacturers really take advantage of people and they overcharge for the filters. Because once you bought the purifier, you're kind of stuck paying for whatever they want to charge for the filters. It reminds me of when I bought my inkjet printer. And then I paid like $100 for it, and I went to replace the inkjet cartridge, and it was like $25, $30 every month when I went to replace this little tiny inkjet cartridge. And the reason why is that they were overcharging me for it. So the remedy for this is really ask for filter prices first. Every 6 or 12 months you're going to need to change the filter. And a buying hint would be ask for a discount when you buy the unit for extra replacement filters before buying it. And anything over $25 for a replacement filter, you're really paying too much. Number three, fanless air purifiers. They simply don't move enough air. Now you don't see these as much anymore, but for a while the big one on television said, well, it's great, it's so quiet, saves electricity, because there's no fan. But unfortunately, that also means they really don't do a good job. So the remedy for that is avoid ones that don't have fans. And speaking of fans, a buying hint would be to see if you could test the fan for quiet and effectiveness, that it's strong when you need to really clean out the room and it's quiet when you want to sleep if you have it in the bedroom. Some of the ones with brushless motors are generally the quietest, and if the store or you can't test one out, sometimes in the box they'll list the decibel level of the different fan speeds, and try to find one with the low or quiet fan speed that's 20 to 35 decibels, and that way you can sleep with it in the room at night. Number four thing they won't tell you is it generally won't do the square footage on the box. First of all, the square footage is based on an empty room, so having to move air around furniture and stuff generally means it's less than what's on the box. But more than that, there's something called changes per hour. So you've got square footage, but then within that square footage, how many times per hour does it completely change over the air in the room? Well, what you want to do is find one that does 4 to 9 times per hour, especially if you have asthma or allergies and you're running in the bedroom. You want it to completely redo the air every 4 to 9 times per hour. Unfortunately, on the box, all this is square footage. So recently I called up a manufacturer, excuse me, I won't mention their name, but they start with an O and they've got a bald guy on TV selling it. And they have a unit now, it's a tower that they sell for $700. And it says it'll do 1,100 square feet. So I called them up and I said, well, how many times per hour does it do that 1,100 square feet? And they didn't know. Finally, they got me one of their technicians, and he goes, well, it does once per hour. I said, once per hour? That's really bad. So I could find one that does 300 square feet, but does 4 times per hour. It'll actually do more than yours will do. So it's kind of a ripoff. It's kind of deceptive that they don't tell you how many times per hour it'll do. It'll clean the room. And so you can't go just by square footage. So when you're shopping, look at square footage, but see if you can find out. You may have to call the manufacturer how many times per hour. Before I mention number 5, I just wanted to mention there is a very cool new Japanese technology which I love, because what it is there are these sensors that can detect pollen, odor, and dust in the air, and they make the air purifier adjust accordingly. So that'll save electricity because it'll go on or off or high or low depending on what's needed in the room. It also eliminates the guesswork, so I don't have to turn it on, turn it off, run it all day, not run it all day, not know when I need it. It'll automatically adjust to what's going on in the air moment to moment. And I think it's also great for preventing allergies and asthma, because if it's going to detect pollen and dust and adjust automatically, I think that's a great way to prevent what's going on. So I just leave it on all the time. And there's a company, AirPodCleaner.com, that actually sells one that's very affordable. So number 5, the number 5 thing to avoid is avoid infomercial air purifiers. Now I realize I'm making a blanket statement, but having worked and done infomercials, I know usually they look for a 7 to 8 time markup over their cost of the product. And because of that, they tend to leave things out like UV. They tend to leave out HEPA, because while they're not that expensive, it's enough that they can't make the kind of profit they want to make on infomercials. So I just avoid the ones you see on TV altogether. They usually don't have a lot of technology. What I would look for is look for one that has 4 to 5 technologies. Look for maybe HEPA first, UV second, and then ion and carbon, etc. On the next slide, I'll actually go over some of the different types of, depending on what you're looking for. I'd probably shop online. When you find a unit that you like, you can shop around to get the best price. You could probably expect to pay anywhere from $100 to maybe $400, even $500 less online than you would by buying it on an infomercial. And I'd probably look for 1-year warranty. Now, if you're wondering what technology kind of matches your needs, here's some general guidelines for HEPA pre-filter for allergies, asthma, some odors, carbon, charcoal, ozone for odors. Probably ozone's the best for odors, but you just don't want a low level of ozone and on-off switch on ozone. Great for animal smells, chemical sensitivity, etc. And then UV, TiO2 plasma, ceramic, and that's good for any kind of pathogens, colds, viruses, flu, bacteria, and also for some odors as well. But the great thing is now you can actually buy ones that have all this together. You might want to check out my other videos, best purifiers for allergies and asthma, how to get the right technology, and what I recommend is the AirPod Cleaner 9000, and that has it's a 9-stage purifier. It's got the smart sensors from Japan. It's twice the technology for half of the price of a lot of the ones on the market. And if you mention the air purifier guide at their website, you'll actually save $100 and pay $299 for one of the state-of-the-art units. So thanks for watching the video and hope this helps.